Good day, learners. Today we are going to discuss a very interesting topic about information and communication technology. So, our topic for today is the 10 principles of information management. My name is Patricia Ayala, your educator for today. So, before we discuss our lesson for today, let me have a simple prayer for all of us to be guided accordingly. So, dear God, thank you for all the blessing for this another day. Please watch over my family and friends. Thank you and amen. So, after our prayer, let me ask every one of us, every one of you, how are you doing? Are you fine? Are you sad? If you're sad, don't worry, everything will be fine. Everything that you feel right now is valid. So I hope that you are all prepared for today's lesson because our learning outcome number 1 is to know and understand the 10 principles of information management. So the performance standards are procedures in dealing with information management challenges. And then the next one is the assess and make an alternative solution, as well as the managing of the challenges bring by information generation. So, for our warm-up activity, let me ask you about what comes into your mind when you heard about the information management. Okay, that's right. That is exactly the information management. So it's great that you have already an idea about the topic that we are going to discuss today. So to start up our discussion, let me first define the word information and management. What is their differences and their meaning? So information is a knowledge obtained from investigation, study, or instruction. However, management is the act or art of managing, the conducting or supervising of something. So now that we define the differences and the meaning of the information and the management, now let's talk about the information management. Information management is an umbrella term that encompasses all the systems and processes within an organization that enable the creation and use of corporate information. So, it is more than just technology. Equally importantly, it is about the business processes and practices that underpin the creation and use of information. Information management therefore encompasses people, process, technology, and content. Each of these must be addressed if information management projects are to be succeed. Improving information management practices is a key focus for many organizations across both the public and private sectors. This is driven by a range of factors including a need to improve the efficiency of business processes, the demands of compliance regulations, and the desire to deliver new services. So effective information management is not easy. There are many systems to integrate, a huge range of business needs to meet, and complex organizational and cultural issues to address. Now I am going to ask someone to define this statement. Information management is fundamentally a business challenge, not a technology problem. Okay, you have a point. Because by this idea, information management is a business challenge. Because by the time that businesses overcome the information management, they will be benefited more. It is not a technology problem because technology problem is also a business challenge. Organizations are confronted with many information management problems and issues. In many ways, the growth of electronic information rather than information on paper has only worsened these issues over the last decade or two. The common information management problems include: first, the large number of disparate information management systems. Next is the little integration or coordination between information system, range of legacy systems requiring upgrading or replacement. Next is the direct competition between information management systems. Next is no clear strategic direction for the overall technology environment. The next one is limited and patchy adoption of existing information system by staff. Poor quality of information, including lack of consistency, duplication, and out-of-date information. Little recognition and support of information management by senior management. Next is the limited resources for deploying management or improving information systems. Next is lack of enterprise-wide definitions for information types and values. No corporate-wide taxonomy. Large number of diverse business needs and issues to be addressed. The next one is lack of clarity around broader organizational strategies and directions. Difficulties in changing working practices and processes of staff. Next is internal politics impacting on the ability to coordinate activities enterprise-wide. So while this can be an overwhelming list, there are practical ways of delivering solutions that work within this limitation and issues. So information management issues can easily become overwhelming when looking at the whole organization. But while this can be an overwhelming list, there are practical ways of delivering solutions that work within these limitations and issues. So now let's proceed to the 10 principles that ensure that information management activities are effective and successful. So number 1 is recognize and manage complexity. Focus on adoption. Number 3, deliver tangible and visible benefits. Number 4, prioritize according to business needs. Number 5, take a journey of 1,000 steps. Number 6, provide strong leadership. Number 7, mitigate risk. Number 8, communicate extensively. Number 9, strive for a seamless digital employee experience. Number 10, choose the first project very carefully. So the principal one is the recognize and manage complexity. Organizations are very complex environments in which to deliver concrete solutions. As mentioned earlier that we have many challenges to be overcome when planning and implementing information management projects. When confronted with many complexity, project teams often fall back upon approaches such as first is the focusing on deploying just one technology in isolation. Second is purchasing a very large suite of applications from a single vendor in the hope that this can be used to solve all information management problems at once. The third one is rolling out rigid, standardized solutions across a whole organization even though individual business areas may have different needs. Next is forcing the use of single technology system in all cases, regardless of whether it is an appropriate solution. Next is purchasing a product for life even though business requirement will change over time. Fully centralizing information management activities to ensure that every activity is tightly controlled. All of these approaches will fail as they are attempting to convert a complex set of needs and problems into simple, even simplistic solutions. The hope is that the complexity can be limited or avoided when planning and deploying solutions. So the second principle is focus on adoption. Information management systems are only successful if they are actually used by staff, and it is not sufficient to simply focus in installing the software centrally. In practice, most information management systems need the active participation of staff throughout the organization. For example, staff must save all key files into document or records management system. The second one is decentralized authors must use the content management system to regularly update the intranet. Next is the lecturers must use the learning content management system to deliver e-learning packages to their students. Frontline staff must capture call details in the customer relationship management system. In all these cases, the challenge is to gain sufficient adoption to ensure that required information is captured in the system. Without a critical mass of usage, corporate repositories will not contain enough information to be useful. This presents a considerable change management challenge for information management projects. In practice, it means that projects must be carefully designed from the outset to ensure the sufficient adoption is gained. This may include the identifying the what's in it for me factors for end users of the system. The next one is communicating clearly to all staff the purpose and benefits of the project. Carefully targeting initial projects to build momentum for the project. The next one is conducting extensive change management and cultural change activities throughout the project. The last one is ensuring that the systems that are deployed are useful and usable for staff. The third principle is it deliver tangible and visible benefit. It is not enough to simply improve the management of information behind the scenes. While this will deliver real benefits, it will not drive the required cultural changes or assist with gaining adoption by staff. In many cases, information management projects initially focus in improving the productivity of publisher or information managers. While these are valuable projects, they are invisible to the rest of the organization. When challenged, it can be hard to demonstrate the return of investment of this project, and they do a little to assist project teams to gain further funding. Instead, information management project must always be designed so that they are deliver tangible and visible benefits. Delivering tangible benefits involves identifying concrete business needs that must be met. For example, improving the information available to call center staff can have a very visible and tangible impact on customer service. In contrast, creating a standard taxonomy for classifying information across systems is hard to quantify and rarely visible to general staff. The fourth principle is to prioritize according to business needs. It can be difficult to know where to start when planning information management project. Instead of this technology-driven approach, the planning process should be turned around entirely to drive projects based on their ability to address business needs. In this way, information management projects are targeted at the most urgent business needs or issues. These in turn are derived from the overall business strategy and direction for the organization as a whole. So the starting point is to conduct effective employee research that builds a clear picture of the current state, including points of pain and opportunities for improvement. Business needs can then be powerful articulate through the lens of digital employee experience, which takes a strategic human-centric view of where to make improvements. For examples, the rate of errors in home loan applications might be identified as a strategic issue for the organization. A new system might therefore be put in place along with other activities to be better manage the information that supports the processing of this application. Alternatively, a new call center might be in the process of being planned. Information management activities can be put in place to support the establishment of the new call center and the training of the new staff. Principle number 5, take a journey of 1,000 steps. There are no single applications or project that will address and resolve all the information management problems of the organization. Where organizations look for such solution, large and costly strategic plans are developed. Assuming the results of this strategic planning, they are actually delivered, which they often aren't. They usually describe a long-term vision but give few clear direction for immediate actions. In practice, anyone looking to design the complete information management solution will be trapped by analysis paralysis or the inability to escape the planning process. Organizations are simply too complex to consider all the factors when developing strategies or planning activities. The answer is to let go of the desire for a perfectly planned approach. Instead, project teams should take a journey of 1,000 steps. This approach recognizes that there are hundreds of often small changes that are needed to improve the information management practices across an organization. These changes will often be implemented in parallel, while some of these changes are organization-wide. Most are actually implemented at business unit or even team. When added up over time, these numerous small changes have a major impact on organization. This is a very different approach that typically taken in organizations, and it replaces a single large or centralized project with many individual initiatives conducted by multiple teams. Now let's talk about the principle 6, which is to provide strong leadership. Successful information management is about organizational and cultural change, and this can only be achieved through strong leadership. The starting point is to create a clear vision of the desired outcomes of the information management strategy. This will describe how the organization will operate more than just describing how the information system themselves will work. This can be best communicated through the strategic use of narrative, which paints the picture of a future day in the life for the key staff roles, bringing together many needs and opportunities into a single story or set of stories. Effort must then be put into a generating sufficient sense of urgency to drive the deployment and adoption of new systems and processes. Stakeholders must also be engaged and involved in the project to ensure that there is support at all levels in the organization. When projects are solely driven by the acquisition and deployment of the new technology solutions, this leadership is often lacking. Without the engagement and support of key stakeholders outside the IT area, these projects often have a little impact. Principle number 7, mitigate risk. Due to the inherent complexity of the environment within organization, there are many risks in implementing information management solution. These risks include selecting an inappropriate technology solution. Next is time and budget overruns. Next is changing business requirements. Technical issues, particularly relating to integrating systems. And the last one is the failure to gain adoption by staff. At the outset of planning an information management strategy, the risk should be clearly identified. An approach must then be identified for each risk, either avoiding or mitigating the risk. Risk management approaches the, sh- should then be used to plan all aspects of the project, including the activities conducted and budget spent. For example, a simple but effective way of mitigating risks is to spend less money. This might involve conducting pilot projects to identifying issues and potential solutions rather than starting with enterprise-wide deployment. Principle number 8, which is communicate extensively. Extensive communication from the project team and the project sponsors is critical for a successful information management initiatives. This communication ensures that staff have a clear understanding of the project and the benefits it will deliver. This is a prerequisite for achieving the required level of adoption. For all these reasons, the first step in an information management project should be to develop a clear communications message. This should then be supported by a communications plan that describes target, audience, and methods of communication. Project teams should also consider establishing a project site on the intranet as the outset to provide a location for planning documents, new release, and other updates. Principle 9. Strive for a seamless digital employee experience, or what do you call DEX or DEX. Employees don't understand systems. When presented with 6 different information systems, each containing 1/6 of what they want, they generally rely on the piece of paper instead or ask the person next to them. Educating staff in the purpose and use of disparate set of information system is difficult and generally fruitless. This is not to say that there should be one enterprise-wide system that contains all information. There will always be a need to have a multiple information system, but the information contained within them should be presented in human-friendly way. Ultimately, it also means breaking down the distinction between the application and delivering tools and information along tasks. The last one is the principle number 10, which is choose the first project very carefully. The choice of the first project conducted as part of a broader information management strategy is critical. This project must be selected carefully to ensure that it demonstrates the value of the information management strategy, build momentum for future activities, generate interest and enthusiasm from both end users and stakeholders. Number 4, deliver a tangible and visible benefits. Number 5, addresses an important or urgent business need. It can be clearly communicated to staff and stakeholders. And the last one, assist the project team in gaining further resources and support. So the first project is the single best and perhaps only. It is the only opportunity to set the organization on the right path towards better information management practices and technologies. The first project must therefore be chosen according to its ability to act as a catalyst for further organization and cultural changes. In practice, this often involves starting with one problem or one area of business that the organization as a whole would be interested in and cares about. As we talk about and discuss the 10 principles, now let's talk about the principles to guide ongoing success. Implementing information technology solutions in a complex and ever-changing organizational development is never easy. The challenges inherent in information management projects mean that new approaches need to be taken if they are to succeed. To sum it up, as the learning outcome in knowing and understanding the information management, we must keep in mind the 10 principles of information management, which are recognize and manage complexity. That is the first one. The next is focus on adoption. The third one is deliver tangible and visible benefits. The fourth one is prioritize according to business needs. The number 5 is take a journey of 1,000 steps. Number 6 is to provide strong leadership. Number 7 is to mitigate risk. Number 8, communicate extensively. Number 9 is strive for a seamless digital employee experience. And the last one is choose the first project very carefully to make the managing of information adequate and successful. So now, this is our first activity that you need to answer while watching this video. You need to state the right answer by choosing the letter of the correct answer. So the question number 1 is, the principle 3 of the information management is to deliver tangible and blank benefits. Letter A, intangible. Letter B, invisible. Letter C, visible. And letter D, incredible. Number 2, it is an umbrella term that encompasses all the systems and processes within an organization that enable the creation and use of corporate information. Letter A, information management. Letter B, information. Letter C, management. And letter D, management authority. Number 3, all of these encompasses information management except one, which is not belong. A, people. B, information. C, technology. And letter D, content. So now, let us check your answer. If your answer in number 1 is letter C, you are correct. Number 2, if you answered letter A, that is also correct. And number 3, if you answered the letter B, which is information, that is correct. So, if you have gained the perfect score, congratulations. It means that you learned something. So, this will end our discussion for today. I hope you learned something. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.